and welcome to the final bell. It's great to have you with us for another week. We are proudly presented by GHMBA, the official health insurance partner of the Geelong Cats, and I am joined, as I am every single week, by Meg McDonald. A very excited Meg McDonald because it is round one time, AFLW.
Round one. Hey, Lingy, thank you. It's so funny. I don't know, you find how you found it as a player, but everything truly is 1 week, one training session at a time. You're not, sort of lifting your eyes up and looking too far towards the horizon in the midst of pre-season. Then you have a season launch. You're at the game promoting round one, and it's 5 sleeps away or whatever it is. So, and then the excitement hits thick and fast. So just calming. Staying calm, but pumped, no doubt.
You don't need me reminding you all the time how exciting.
It's great,
but it is for all of us fans. It is 3:35 on Saturday here at GHMBA Stadium, Geelong taking on the Kangaroos. And just to remind you even more of the fact it's round one, we've got a special treat coming up. A guest, your coach.
My coach.
We're going to have the captain-coach combo here. Dan Lowther is going to join us in the second segment to talk all things AFLW, and looking forward to this round one clash and the season ahead. So I'm looking forward to that. We will get to a few of your questions a little bit later on.
Let's do it.
Maybe have a little bit of a peek at the Cats taking on the Swans on Sunday, which, given the Swans' form at the moment,
no one's penciling that one in.
No, definitely not. But of course, we're going to kick things off. Not with Meg's memo. You've had other things on your mind,
guys. I know.
It's okay. You were doing TV, radio, ground announcing, function rooms, everything, the excitement of round one. So we will forgive you for no Meg's memo.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I will. Well, producer Jake, if you can give me the odds post-game on Saturday, and we'll get one in.
Excellent. I know it's a fan favourite. Let's look at the Friday night clash, though. The Cats taking on the Bombers. In the end, comfortable victory, 44-point win to the Cats. There were moments where maybe that comfort level just shifted a little bit. I think the Bombers got back to 20 points at one stage, and there was a bit of momentum going in Essendon's way. And fortunately, the Cats' class and skillful players were able to just get it back under control, and a nice spread of goal kickers, despite all of us lunatic fans probably coming to the ground thinking, "Ooh, could Jez kick 9 or 10?"
You were working the game. What were you saying?
Well,
you were saying look out for scratch?
I said, so in big build-up, working with Kelly Underwood and Corbin Middlemass on ABC, Mick Malthouse, we had a little bit of a chat around, do you feed him, do you not feed him, that sort of thing. Cal said, I think Cal tipped 10 goals to Jez.
Yeah, I think I've said similar.
Yeah, I think Corbin said 9, I said 8, and Mick was the only one, a bit more sobering voice going, doesn't always work out that way. It's a tough game, this AFL footy. You don't just kick a bag.
Yeah.
He said 5, and given he kicked 4 goals, 5, Mick was correct.
Yeah, Mick was correct. I'm sure we'll get into it, but you also just don't need to, do you? Like, he's going to kick that many he has been kicking that many in a very standard game where you're spreading the love and he's getting his fair share.
Yeah, and I love that in the first quarter. So to go to the game, it felt like Jez from outside perspective, but clearly internally the message was and the forward line was whoever's the best option. And there's probably going to be a bit of a focus on Jez early, so the Essendon defenders might gravitate a bit towards him, which will open up beautiful bits of space for a free run at the ball for other forwards. And we took those options, and Shannon Neal was the beneficiary, and he kicks those 3 first quarter goals, and we're away.
We were away. And do you know, speaking of getting away, in the first 30 seconds, Oisin Mullen, I was like, go on. Yes. You are on today. And I would have backed him in. I mean, it's funny that he's now kicked 7 behinds, I think, for his career, because he doesn't miss a field kick. He's a great player. And I know we've been supportive of him for a long time on here, but I love sitting in the outer and hearing people be like, I wasn't sure, and now I'm excited. First clearance, 2 intercept marks. Beast.
Yeah, and another big ask on Zach Merritt, who worked incredibly hard for the whole game, and Zach had a good, solid game, and Osh had a really good, solid game. It was a really good battle, and obviously with Merritt not being able to dominate the game, allowed our other mids to then have a huge influence on the game, and obviously Bailey Smith and Maxie Holmes and Gryan in there again found a heap of the footy and complemented that job that Osh was doing. It's funny, you talk about the crowd and Geelong fans, and I certainly put myself in this boat. I think we've learned, and we've got to keep learning that not to judge a player on 5 games or 10 games or 15 games. Let it build. Let it trust the fact that the coaches are seeing things at training and they know they've got attributes, and it might take a little bit of time, because there's the best example in the entire world running around for the Cats, and he wears number 39.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about him.
And he did it again. He does it every single week. The player, and I spoke about this in the commentary on Friday night, who in his first couple of seasons, Geelong fans were saying, what's going on? He's 50 kilos dripping wet. He's getting pushed out of the way. He's this, he's that. Why do they keep playing him? Well, I think we've seen why they keep playing him. He is an incredible footballer, Zach Guthrie, and I mean, highlighted by his chase down tackle, the speed he has, and the decision making and the strength and everything.
Whatever the game is, they give player ratings out at the start of the year, and they put him in the top 10 for speed or whatever. Well, maybe he was number 2. He was something up. He was up there for speed, and I was like, in a team where surely you put Max Holmes up there. Anyway. He does that chase down tackle. I ended up in front of the coach's box in the fourth quarter, and Mark Worthington said he hit 34.2 kilometres an hour or something on that chase, which that is really quick.
I can assure you, I've never hit that speed
in training. No. Well, obviously I certainly haven't, but to do it in round 22 in the middle of a game on a chase down tackle, incredible. Tell your good mate not to then kick it into the corridor. I was spewing for him. I was like, oh no. He's what a player. Yeah,
what a player.
And while we're on behind the ball, I think the improvement of Connor O'Sullivan at the moment seems, obviously he's still got so much upside, but he's playing with such confidence at the moment as well.
He certainly is. His ability to read between I'm not quite in a great position, spoil. Yeah. I am now in a terrific position and sometimes an even better position. Yeah. I'm going to fly and take the mark.
Totally, yeah.
And nice little specky as well.
Lovely little specky, just jump right over the top.
Yeah, it was terrific. And then when you've got players, and this is not meant to be, got to word it in the right way, because they're not just role players, they're high quality players, as I've said with Zach Guthrie and Connor O'Sullivan and Oisin Mullen and all of this. But when you've got those high quality foundational players about the way you play, it then is allowing the cream of the crop, so Bailey Smith and Maxie Holmes and these boys, to really shine. And we saw Bailey and Max in full flight when they're able to break the game open and run and create, even against an Essendon team that was just trying their best to shut things down, slow the game down. Their game-breaking run from congestion is so impressive to watch.
Yeah, how we're looking ahead now, how do you think we'll be able to translate that into, hopefully now, I mean, the top 8's still so undecided, but into finals footy, that sort of run and line breaking, does it become more important? Is it harder to do in the heat of a finals contest? How do you see that going?
So it's the great question, the most probably pivotal question in a final, is the ball does not live on the outside. Yeah. You cannot keep running to the outside and expecting it to come out there, because it don't come out there in finals.
It don't come.
Nah, but occasionally, when you've been great in the contest as a team, you can get it to the outside on only a handful of occasions, a really small handful of occasions. But you need to be able to turn those moments into high-end, explosive, quality attacking plays that result in goals.
Yeah.
And so the ability to have a Bailey Smith, Max Holmes, it'll be arm wrestling hard and contested, and there'll be tackles and the ball will just spill and it'll be stripped, and then you have to go back and re-win it again. But then the moment when it just breaks to the outside, to have players capable of turning that into bang, we're away in a big final is crucial.
Yeah.
You still have to attack. You still have to kick goals in finals. It can't only be in a contest, and it can't only be defensive. You got to score.
Yeah.
And to have players who can do both, translate it from congestion and contest into explosive open field play, they are worth their weight in gold.
Yeah. And ones that make good decisions when you're running at full tilt, however many Ks per hour. I particularly like, Baz a lot of the time, field position for those players is like meters gained is largely what their one wood in the team. But when he broke through the middle of the ground and hit Jez, gives that full tilt, hits Jez on the lead directly in front for one of his 4 goals, I think it was. I thought, that's elite football. But to that point, some of the Jez goals and the focus on him, I ended up thinking, I'd really rather your direct oppo not crash into the back of you so many times in this game and get you in such awkward positions that you don't get to play the season out. Like, just all good.
Get hurt, yeah. Gee, those marks that you're referring to when he's full speed on the lead with a Laverty or Redmond right up his backside trying to spoil, they are so hard to mark, and he still took them.
Really outstretched, wasn't he?
Love the game of Sean Manor again. We love making sure we shout out the sometimes the unsung heroes, but I feel like there's a lot of singing for Sean Manor, and quite rightly so. His ability of that pseudo midfield forward half attacking play type player, he plays it perfectly,
doesn't he? Yeah, and he's got such pop on his kick when he flushes it. It's so compact. It goes, I'm all about the aesthetically pleasing ones, aren't I? Jakey. My ASMR boys. No, he was great, and I think he probably, as has been discussed over and over again, he could have kicked 4 goals.
Yes, he certainly could. Yeah, there might have been a couple of times where the players perhaps looked a smidge too much for Jez, but that's okay. It was fine. Yeah, it's still shot position type play in some of the cases where you go, okay, there's an option to go to Jeremy Cameron in a better position because he's on a lead. It's not a bad option to take.
Yeah, he's in a 1v1.
Yeah, correct. A good win, a good solid win. They get through pretty healthily as well.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
Yeah, I think did Jack Henry have hamstring awareness when he came off?
Yeah, it was awareness, but we'll know more today, says producer Jakey. Check out the health update.
Love that from you, Jack. You just save yourself, my friend.
Yes.
Beast.
Yeah, and if I would say anything, there was a brief moment where when Jack first, I reckon, came off, and a couple of minutes later, Tom Stewart was then on the bench, just getting a little bit of things checked out. Just that ability to reshuffle down back just took a moment or two, a little bit of confusion. We quickly worked it out, but it shows the importance of Jack Henry as that anchor, high-quality defender, still supporting the young player in Connor O'Sullivan. Zach Guthrie's able to read it better and all that. So he's crucial to our chances. So hopefully it is only awareness.
And while we're shouting people out and speaking about those that came off the ground, Mitch Nevitt was back in the team. Jai Clark was back in the team. I thought Mitch did some great things. I'm sure he would have loved to finish that goal because the steal was awesome. But he had a presence at both ends of the ground, which is what you want from a player like that.
And again, you just notice he's got the speed and agility and decision making and all that, but his size.
His size is so remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, I keep saying it. It reminds me so much of an old teammate of mine who used to wear number 11. Not to put too much pressure on him, but that sort of size as a midfielder is so important. As we know, Geelong take on Sydney this Sunday. A few players putting their hand up in the VFL. The Cats beat the Bombers by 14 points. Ted Closey, as he seems to always do, is just permanently, he's the kid at the front of the classroom with his hand up saying, I am here if you need me. 29 disposals, kicked a goal, 9 tackles.
Terrific game. Following in the footsteps of another great from the VFL, Mr. Tom Atkins, now holds the record for home and away.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Wow.
That's right.
Fantastic. So he's always ready to go and always playing great footy and setting those standards. Georgie Stevens.
There's just ridiculous numbers every week in the VFL from Georgie.
32 disposals, 11 clearances. That's going to be an important one for him. And also just a little note too. Got here in the notes from producer Jakey. Geelong Falcons prospect Jesse Mallow kicked 2 goals. Yep. Part of the NGA, I believe. Yeah, so that's why he was able to play with the...
he's on draft watch.
Geelong VFL, so a little one to watch come later on in the year with the draft. The VFL this week, they take on the Swans at 11:35am on Sunday at Tramway Oval. Across the road from the SCG. Thank you, producer Jakey. Hadn't heard of Tramway Oval. And as we always note, instead of talking VFLW, we are talking AFLW. Round 1 does kick off. Geelong taking on North Melbourne this Saturday. GHMBA Stadium, 3:35 p.m. Please Get your tickets.
See you there.
Get your tickets.
You can buy. Okay, I'm going really strong pitch here, guys. We broke the membership record. That was announced at the game, so 91,000. It's been a real source of pride for the team that we've led the comp in AFLW memberships for the past couple of years. So if we could do so again, that would be great, as we keep saying. I know we're about to do the membership, but it's $25 for existing members, so that's a good 87,000 of y'all who could just add $25 on. Translate, let's go. But it's important to note, I think you can buy tickets at the door on Saturday. I know AFLW, the nature of the attendees is often on the day of, is the weather great? I'm going to the footy. Great. So that's made easier with tickets on the door. And I think there'll be I think they've moved the local footy to be on St Mary's beforehand. So come on over. Anyway, I do think I've been in match promo mode, so
it is absolutely been moved. I think it's a 1:10 game. The St Mary's taking on South Barwon.
Over your comp, 3:35. Look what we did.
Straight across, beautifully done. You mentioned that membership. It is $25 with an existing AFL membership. Visit membership.geelongcats.com.au for more info. We are about to be joined by Dan Lowther, the coach of the AFLW, to talk more about the upcoming season. But before we do that, just a bit of a call out to all our Geelong fans listening right now. You can also submit your votes in the AFL Players Association 22 under 22 and help get our Cats players in the team. We need you to go to vote.22, as in the numbers 22 under 22.com.au. Vote.22under22.com.au and select your team. Please include. I don't want to push anyone. They can vote for whoever they like, but I'm going to suggest
this is the club-owned podcast, Lingy. Push.
I'm maybe going to suggest Ollie Dempsey, deserving of a spot, if not in the All-Australian team, and also Lawson Humphreys and Connor O'Sullivan. Just a couple to potentially chuck in there.
Where's Connor at in your mind for the Rising Star?
Now that I don't vote on it, I have not
paid
deep
quite the same
dived.
attention.
But if he's not in the top two, I'd be shocked. Who could possibly pip him? I haven't done enough of a deep dive because I'm totally biased. Murphy Reid, nice one. Curtin's finished strong. Okay. That's like it. And Archie Roberts was very good on Friday night too. I do like Archie Roberts. That's a good shout out, Jakey. But of course, given I'm not voting for it anymore, I can be totally biased, and I think Connor O'Sullivan should win it.
Love that.
So hopefully he does. Let's take a break. The coach of the AFLW, Dan Lowther, is up next. Winning a three-peat isn't easy, but at GHMBA Health Insurance, that's exactly what we've done. By winning the 2024 CanStar Outstanding Value Hospital Cover in Victoria 3 years running.
GHMBA have been caring for the Geelong community since 1934 and are proud supporters of the mighty Geelong Cats. Join at gmhba.com.au.
Welcome back. It is great to have you with us on To the Final Bell, proudly presented by GHMBA. We are very, very lucky ahead of the big round one opening to the AFLW season to have the coach, Dan Lowther, is with us. Louth, great to see you.
Cameron, good to see you too, mate.
What are you laughing at already,
No,
Meg?
I heard you guys are old mates, so I'm loving the full name straight off the bat.
Well, I'll have to before we get to some of the footy stuff, I'll have to say, Louth was one of the really great people to me when I first got to the club. Looked after me. You were super experienced at about 30 games of AFL footy, and I was like, this guy seems like a good guy. And then I realised maybe you were just being nice to me because you'd invite me around to your house for dinner, which was great, but then the card games would happen. True. And was it just a way of just taking all my money?
Pennies, 5 cent, 20 cent. But it was it was a long time ago. But very happy memories around that. But the 30 games at that point was just trajectory the right way. But maybe I was just trying to get your position because you're coming up pretty close behind me, so kind of read the room.
Now Lingy I'm sure Tan would have already been on the scene at that point. Was she making the dinners?
100%.
She was around. Yeah, she was definitely around, but in and out from Melbourne. But she picked and chose very wisely when not to be there.
It was a terrific group. It was Paul Corrigan, so Mark Corrigan, VFL coach, his brother, he's coaching at the Falcons. I think the early days of Carl Steinfurt would drop around, and of course Blake Carosella would pop down from Essendon. So it was some really fun times.
Yeah, Jason Snell lived next door for a while, so that was and Carl ended up living with me as well. So it was good memories, good.
Great group. So now fast forward a whole bunch of time. You're in charge of the AFLW team and no doubt looking forward to kicking things off round one. But before we get to round one, pre-season, the practice matches against the Saints and the Suns, how is it all shaping up? You're pretty positive, pretty happy with the way things have been?
Yeah, pretty positive. It's been a long off-season followed by a really long pre-season, but a bit of soul-searching off the back of last year around some of the things that we probably were missing from our game that we focused on. And the practice matches certainly showed that we've got the capacity to do what we've been training for. The Saints game was a nice test. It always, met with a bit of intrepidation around, what you've been training for, as you could imagine too. Like, will it, transfer into real time? And there were some really positive signs against the Saints, and then the Suns was another one where we kind of, just consolidated some of the things that we've been discussing around our contest work and whatnot, and to win comfortably both games, but also for our younger players and our experienced players to get some really good game time and show their progression was exciting too. So, happy with the way things are going, but knowing that, with the difference around fixture and teams and how they progress as well with their lists, it's going to be an intriguing start to the season.
Loud, with the soul searching that was done, I'm always interested in. I know in the men's comp we sort of look at where's the game going, what's going to keep you ahead of the pack. Is that something that you looked at in the women's game, or was it more about looking internally about where we strayed from, want to refocus from?
Yeah, it's a good
How
question.
did you decide what to focus on?
Yeah, good question. It's a bit of both. There's so much growth I think we've got to go in the AFLW around fundamental and ways you can break the game open. For a long period it's been hotly contested, tight in around contest and whatnot. The AFL is screaming out for open field play, so we've been looking at that factor for a couple of seasons, but the fundamental to then support that's really important. So a lot of our work still evolves around fundamental. You look at things around contested marking and scoring and how that can, the flow can continue with those types of chains of possession where, maybe in the past it might just stop and it's now another contest. But around that, the aerial game now is really important. So we've done a lot of work over the off-season around, players who play those roles. Does it fit our game style so that we can, make the most of those opportunities and, to keep the game flowing, that's a really big part of the game. And then obviously where you connect inside your front half is important off the back of that. And I think contested marking is a big one going forward.
You say the AFL wants more open flow and more goals is probably what they want it to eventuate in. That's all well and good. So we'd love more free flowing play and a bunch more scoring. What's the key to unlocking that though? I know you talk about the contested marking there, some of that, but how does it make the jump? How does with what you're seeing from maybe the newer generation coming through, the players, the capabilities, the athletic profiles, what's the key to really unlocking that?
Well, it's probably a number of things. Again, you see the kids coming through the pathway system now. Last year's draft shows the capacity and the skill level of the new crop coming through. That will help because they've played football since the age of 4 or 5 and their fundamentals grown along with their IQ. I think that's a really good combination too, to consider the fundamental and game IQ to support decision making in real time. So if that can marry up stronger, the game can move in different directions as opposed to going to straight lines, which is important as well for field position using the ground. But there's just so many other ways fundamentally that we need to keep improving. So coaching's a big one too, like just having enough time in front of coaches. The girls are full-time athletes now for the most part, and they're crying out for training and practice around those fundamentals that can support opening the ground up and playing the game with more free flow. But at this point in time, we're probably still in that kind of cloudy phase of working into that space. Some clubs do it differently. We've got a strategy going forward now that can support that, which can hopefully then transfer into real time. But just time in front of coaches, time in front of each other, so that the fundamental and IQ kind of marry up to make those games and training more free flowing.
Do you feel, I certainly feel as a player excited by the prospect of 12 games over 12 weeks. We talk about improvement and we've had a fantastic pre-season, but the opportunity to continue to get better from here on out, I think is greater than it ever has been before.
Yeah, I think so too. We've gone how many games when you start? 7?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, 7 to 10 to 11 to 12. And it's a bit of a mini series, isn't it? Like a championship, really. We've come a long way in a really, really short time. Just more time in front of opposition, and just getting those games under your belt is really important. We talk about it around, we've played 2 games already as practice matches, but we're going into round 3 to kind of just keep that theme of we're playing more games. I think 2 years ago when we played our final series deep into that period there, we were going round 15. That was important to kind of feel like we're playing more footy, and I think that's only going to be a big help.
You talk about the fact that it is almost a championship type, a compact draw. You got a big challenge first up, taking on the reigning premiers. Saturday, 3:35 here at GHMBA Stadium. Hopefully we get a really big crowd to support the team. They're good. They're clearly very good. They wouldn't be the reigning champs if they weren't good. How can you pick them apart without giving away too much?
No,
I understand that, but just maybe the challenges and what you're trying to get rolling with the group to get off to that good start.
Yeah, it's a challenging start. It's I hope the AFL put us against them round 1 because they think we might be able to do okay. But in terms of picking them apart, they undefeated last year. We managed to steal 2 points off them late in the quarter with the little Michaela Bowen snap in the pocket there, which is great. But I think historically we've matched up pretty well against them over the last at least 3 seasons, to be fair. So, tight margins for the most part, but some of those games have been quite dour, low scoring. The game last year at Arden Street was probably a 5 or 6 goal game as well. But they're outstanding through the midfield. And we talk about consistency, and they are one consistent team from each player to the next. They know their role really well. You've been a part of successful sides over the period. When you've got that connection, it's very hard to break because they're just vanilla, but they're really good vanilla, and that's, I think, what teams are working towards, that consistency piece. And that's for us to manage our game style and system as well, individually and as a collective, to make sure that we're matching in the engine room, where they're Garner and Riddell and King and they've got a host of others that roll through there, and then they're really strong up front, and they're strong and dedicated down back, and they've got a clear system. The challenge for us is, can we match them for long enough and then pick them apart at the right time with what we talked about with our open field, our play and our consistency piece around our role. So bloody good challenge, a really good challenge off the back of 2 good wins in the pre-season to test our growth. But one we're looking forward to. We've got Adelaide the week after as well, so it's a nice tricky start. But I think it's one we walk in with open arms, because it sets a tone for the year for us. Yeah,
that was really going to be my next question. How do you balance for yourself personally and in leading our team the lead up to round 1 in any season? It feels like a massive game, and particularly against the reigning premiers, but at the same time it's just the beginning. So how are you balancing the focus of us, them, big round 1, long season? Yeah,
I just think the nature of the competition, round 1's massive irregardless, and then so is round 2 and then round 5 off the back of, we've only got X amount of games left, so every game has a real high level of importance to it. I think just going back to what we've been doing over the last 3 months has been really important. You can put all these plans in place around each opposition, you can analyse them through the nose, but really, if we can implement things that we've been training consistently enough and go back to those things that we've been practicing for months and months, so that there's some calmness around what we're trying to achieve, and there's some clarity as well, and we can chase those things and we can measure those things really clearly, as opposed to worrying about round 4, even though we know that each game has its high price. But I think that's probably the easiest way to go about it.
I know that a lot of our listeners, a lot of our fans are very, very excited for things to kick off. No doubt you two both just can't wait for it, because, and Meg mentions this a little bit too, just the, going through the men's season and seeing the joy of footy and the excitement of footy. You just want to play now and just unleash. Let's go. So it'll be brilliant on Saturday. As I said, 3:35 here at GHMBA Stadium. Cats taking on the reigning champs, the Kangaroos. Hopefully we get a really big crowd, Louth.
I'm hoping for. We've talked about 10,000 for a few years now, and the whole Arsenal effect is taken over. But it would be awesome to have as many fans here as possible.
Yeah, it'll be very exciting. Good luck for the season. Can't wait to see the team in action. Thanks so much for coming along for a chat.
Thanks for having me both.
Winning a three-peat isn't easy, but at GHMBA Health Insurance, that's exactly what we've done. By winning the 2024 CanStar Outstanding Value Hospital Cover in Victoria 3 years running.
GHMBA have been caring for the Geelong community since 1934 and are proud supporters of the mighty Geelong Cats. Join at gmhba.com.au. Welcome
back to The Final Bell. We are proudly presented by GHMBA. Really good to chat with Dan Lowther. I was thinking, as you're asking him questions, I'm like, the captain, the coach combination.
What did you pick up?
I hope I'm not giving too much away and trying to read too much. I'm not an expert, but seems like you two have got a really good relationship and obviously a good footy relationship. You've got to work together. You're driving the team forward, but you can also talk pretty comfortably and pretty casually about
I think so.
things.
We probably, I think he'd like less talking from me sometimes, more spoiling, but that's what the weekend's for.
That's what the weekend's for. It is funny because I obviously vice captain for a long time, but then 1 year captain under Bomber and under Scotty. I wouldn't necessarily chat, hang with Bomber. We wouldn't.
Do you know what? It is something we actually discussed in the women's game more. It is a curiosity, not a curiosity, but a point of difference. As Louth spoke about, the depth and breadth of coaching is not the same in W. Sort of trying to find, some clubs have more full time than others, but it means the playing group's relationship with the senior coach is, I would say, more intense and there's more contact than it is in the men's. I cut you off, but I think as you're about to describe, there's not a lot. There's not necessarily a lot of senior coach to player.
Not heaps. You tend to have more the relationship, the deeper relationship with assistant coaches or a development coach. And with Bomber and I, it was almost like we liked it that way. Yeah. We didn't need to hang out with each other, and there was no insecurity of oh, hang on, Bomber's not talking to me. But we could talk about anything football, we could have ruthless conversations with each other about how do we get this group better, where do we need to take, what do we need to do with that player to get the most, and it was great. But then lunchtime in the players' lounge, I wasn't hanging with Bomber. We weren't sitting there talking about the NBA results or anything like that. But he had that relationship with some of the other players.
Yeah, interesting.
A small handful, more the cheeky ones like Stokesy and Cal and these guys. Who he could joke around and have fun with, and they craved that. I think they really wanted that. I didn't want to hang around with him. I wanted to talk footy with him. Let's what do we need to get better at? What do we need this purpose to be? So it's just interesting that the coach and captain dynamic. Clearly you and Louth working towards a very exciting goal together. So great that we could have a chat with him. Want to move on to some fan questions.
Let's do it.
Quickly before I do, the health update, I mentioned it before as you brought up Jack Henry. So update on him will be on the health update. Please check that out. Good news, Jake Kolodjasny got through the VFL, which is so good to see. And then a little bit more of an update on Mitch Duncan and Cam Guthrie on our health update. So check that one out. Fan questions.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Oh, I'll let you handle this one.
Will you? I don't know.
Just tough off the top here from Darcy. How do we stop the quick ball movement of a team like Brisbane and GWS?
Well, Lingy, thankfully other teams are doing it for us. So we might not have to worry about Brisbane.
Ooh.
No, I'm not saying that. There are a couple of passages in the weekend where Essendon cut us up through the middle, and I thought, oh no, this is the RFI for us, or this is the vulnerability, perhaps. I don't know, how much of it naturally changes with what we were saying before, the pressure on the footy in finals?
It does, yeah, certainly.
But then you refer to the prelim last year and you think, oh no.
Yeah, there's so many layers to this though, the answer being, because if you're even more efficient with your ball use going forward and you're hitting those targets, and I reckon we made a few skill errors on the weekend, Friday night that was un-Geelong-like. If you're more efficient with ball in hand, you actually have to defend less.
Yes.
And you can get set up better. However, turnovers happen. So then when the turnovers do happen, I think we're still leaving patches of space through the middle part of the ground where we're just a little bit, a touch slow to get into great positions to defend and
Is that about following the ball forward, or you think we're just
a little bit following the ball forward, and then a little bit maybe sort of have slower to have left maybe the initial contest around half back. So it feels like there's a bit of a bigger spread between the mids, which when coming back the other way, the opposition can pick those little holes apart. If we close that up, so we've got a little bit better method, still want mids getting forward hard, but one or two trailing them into an initial area that they can defend from. Yeah. And then the other ones stuck way back at half back still have just come up a little bit quicker. There's less room for the opposition to take through us.
Yeah, I always speak about this in our team a bit because Georgia Prasparkas can take 70, 80 metres like that. And we in the men's team have two in particular that can do the same thing. The ball is all of a sudden 100 metres towards your goal and it's moving quicker than you can run 100 metres. So that press behind the attack has to be emphasised because if that kick doesn't come off.
And knowing when you are the first to leave as a mid or the last to leave or if you're in the middle layer, what do I do?
What were you generally?
Well,
in and under.
I did have a pivot point for me because my first look and early on in my career everything was man on man.
Yeah.
So it was certainly locate the opponent.
Yeah.
Because if it's going into our forward line and I'm not part of the attacking flow of the play, assume that if there's an intercept, they're going to try and exit somewhere and make sure my opponent's not the one getting that, given he's usually the best mid. But as it progressed to more of a team defence and group of mids, is have an eye and a locate. Is my opponent in a dangerous spot where he can be part of the next chain for the opposition? Yep. But if he's not and totally, well, where's the dangerous space now, and where might they come out? So I need to fill that, play within a role. So that helped me think, okay, if this ball comes out, I need to be part of it, part of locking it in. The idea that if you're what we call the last to leave as a mid, but you think I'm still going to get forward and get deep inside 50, you're going to leave a big hole behind you. Sorry, Darcy, if that made not much sense what I just said, but it did in my brain, Meg. Newton has this one. What's been your favourite goal kicked this year?
Can you give me some nominations? I'm trying to think.
Any one of Jez's. Grind against Freo. Producer Jakey is suggesting. This is recency bias, but Port Adelaide game, because I was sitting in the boundary, that Max Holmes explosion from the stoppage involved, linked in the play and then runs in and kicks the goal. Yeah. I think I might have said it last week. That's as impressive as I've seen from just speed of not only ball movement, but his speed out of it. But I'm clearly forgetting lots from earlier on in the year.
Well, bias. I always love it when Lawson Humphries has a ping. So was it on the G? Might have been Hawthorn on the left. Yeah, love that one.
All right, we'll go with that one. Newton, sorry.
You're right. Yeah, Max Holmes. Max Holmes.
Nikita says, who was your favourite team to play? Do you have a special team you just love to play against?
No, I always struggle to answer these questions. Do you mean from because you think we've got these, no worries, or from you just up for it? I'm excited by playing North, or whenever that's fixtured, I'm up and about for it. I like playing Brisbane. Yeah,
I love the big game challenge. Yeah, so it was Hawthorn and Collingwood, and then a patch where it was St Kilda. Those big, high stakes, high pressure. It's like if I'm going to run myself to the point of nearly passing out and I'm going to brutalise my body and be exhausted mentally, I want it to mean something.
Yeah, okay. Love that.
Would have been nice to just run around and just get an easy kick every now and then too, but that didn't happen too often. Sean says, which non-Victorian team would you like to see as premiers?
Sean,
which non-Melbourne team? Geelong. No. Which non-Victorian team?
Oh, I like the Crows. They're number one at the moment.
Can I give you a little insight into my brain?
Yeah.
Sean and Meg and everybody listening.
The teams don't exist.
When it truly matters and it gets competitive, I turn into a really grumpy, you-know-what.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody else happy in the world if it's not Geelong.
Yeah. Fair. That's fair.
So if there could be no premier,
Yeah.
if it's not to be Geelong, that would make me happy.
Yeah. I hear.
Sorry for how bitter
Actually,
and
no,
angry
that's
I
actually
am.
not my answer. My answer is GWS. But I agree with you.
Okay.
I often find it depends whether you're in the finals or not. So like if you're not, if you haven't made the finals and you've got somewhat of a gap so you can kind of engage, I find it okay.
Yeah,
if you've just lost in the prelim, say last year, it's like unwatchable.
Yeah, you don't want to see any person enjoy themselves after
Yeah.
you've lost a prelim. Yeah, that's fair. I like
Yeah.
that, Meg. That's a good way of saying it. Maggie wants to know, if you had to pick a player to take a specky for your life, who would it be? Who's going to get up there the best, get good hang time, be able to balance in the air, keep the eyes on the footy, take the mark, bring it all the way to the ground for your life?
For your life.
I want to see if we've got the same one.
You're talking Cats?
I think we're talking Cats.
All right. I'll say Cats women's, which I think might hint at maybe we've got the same answer. Michaela Bowen needs to take on this year. She needs to get up and down the wing or high forward, take some inspiration from Ollie Dempsey and get up and down. Yeah. Is he your man?
Yeah, he's my man.
Yeah. We've spoken about him a bit. He's a personal favourite of mine, but Jack Henry can control it on the way down. He can leap, and I think of that Richmond goal when he went forward to win the game. That's focus. But he doesn't get as high.
Tom Stewart's rock solid in his
Isn't he?
just a little like a jump and a hang and just a land 2 foot and like it's balanced. I'm ready to keep playing.
Isn't he? Take the kick off on the 45. Bang.
If he put more theatrics on some of his leaps he's had, it probably would look more spectacular.
Yeah,
But
good point.
no, I'm going with Ollie.
Ollie,
Anything involving Ollie Dempsey just brings a smile to my face. Mind you, just a shout out to an opposition player for just a great hanger. Ben Kings was
a good grab.
as good as you
Went
see
early.
on another tall player.
I always
stayed
think
up there.
with the Kings, this is getting real technical. I want them to use their arms more in their leap. Have a look at this. Look at this for me next time. I mean, obviously it hasn't impacted him. He's taken a great mark. There's not a lot of boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Like it's very.
Yeah, right. Okay. I like the mechanical side. I know this is good for those watching, not so much for those listening.
You've got to use your
But I
arm
hear
drive
ya.
to get the launch.
To get the launch. Okay.
Imagine how high you could get then.
I like it. I love the fact he stayed up there for so long though.
Yeah, he went super early. I felt for Wiedering coming in behind, being like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. Hopefully we answered all of those okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all of your questions. We love hearing from you. Keep them coming in. Meg, let's take a quick look at the game this Sunday, 3:15 at the SCG. Cats taking on the Swans. It's the sort of one that maybe 8 weeks ago you go, Cats win. Cats win that one.
Cats win, yeah.
Not so much now because the Swans have got healthy. They've got their players back. Isaac Heaney is absolutely destroying the world right now.
How good. Hey, sorry, that's your actual answer. If we're going any other team,
Good point. Yeah.
Isaac Heaney, my goodness.
Last month alone,
What a player.
he is averaging 27 and 3 goals.
And 2 speckies.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Shows the importance of Errol Goulden being back in that
Yeah.
lineup, the quality of Callum Mills. Their ball use was electric against the Brisbane Lions. A terrific game of footy, actually.
Do you
in
put
the end.
Osh to Heaney then? In the middle, behind the ball?
Because Osh has got the ability to defend.
do both, yeah.
That's the real strength with you not losing things structurally, having to immediately hand it over and then they can drift back up and all of that. So, yeah, I think that's worth a go.
Yeah.
It'd be a really good challenge. So a lot's been made of Geelong having and I hesitate to use the word softer, but a favourable run in the run
not
into
playing
finals.
top 8 teams.
So not playing top 8 teams, thank you. That's a better way of putting it, Meg. This one is a really high-end challenge.
Isn't it?
On the SCG against a team who is clearly intent on finishing the season on a high note and making a bit of a mess of the finals and the top 8 and probably giving us a little look into how good they'll be next year.
It shapes as a really good, if we go up and win, it's a good win.
It is, yeah. So we look at their running ability, their attacking, high-quality ball use. It probably gives us a great tune-up in what we were talking before.
Question
about.
one
Yeah.
from Darcy, yeah.
Let's maybe have that as our focus. We know we can score and our ball use is good and we've got our explosive mids and top forward line and that, but actually, if we can work out a way to limit Goulden, Heaney, et cetera, Blakey running, this might be a really nice way to prepare for September.
Let's hope. There. Let's hope.
Let's hope. That is Sunday afternoon, as I mentioned. But before you get to that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking about playing Saturday. Feet up on the couch Sunday watching the boys.
That is
a
weekend. Good weekend.
Isn't it?
That is a good weekend of footy. So, Saturday, 3:35, GHMBA Stadium. Cats taking on North Melbourne. Round 1 of the AFLW. You mentioned it. There's a good GFL game for those who really love their footy at 1:10 at St Mary's. So there'll be terrific atmosphere. Walk straight across. Get your AFLW membership, do everything, come along and support the team. And then Sunday afternoon, the Cats taking on the Swans at the SCG, 3:15 p.m. That is a wonderful footy weekend.
Well done.
Meg,
wrap it up there.
You've put in a huge pre-season. You've done the work. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck for
Let's
round
go.
1.
I'm pumped.
How nervous will you get, just quickly?
I think I'm in a good place at the moment. I feel like I had nervy practice games, interestingly. So I'm hoping that's sort of flushed that out, and then... yeah, let's just what
play.
will be. Let's just play. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. No, I can't wait to watch it. It'll be brilliant. We'll be back next week. We will discuss how you're going. See how sore you are next week, and we will of course talk about the Cats taking on the Swans on Sunday afternoon. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.
See you then.